Okay, so tonight we are going to talk a little bit about what happens when your vitamins actually work. Because the vitamins that we take, we know are working, and we want to share that with everybody because people need to know about this. Okay, it's really important. I can't tell you how many bottles of silver or Centrum men's vitamins, GNC men's of my husband's, I have thrown out because he doesn't finish them. Like he has good intentions, but never finishes them. This particular system with Thrive, he has done regularly every day, and he even checks up on me to make sure I've done mine. So, what I'd first like to do is introduce Dr. Dennis Rowe briefly. And I want to mention too, if any, for those of you expecting Joni on this evening, she is in Florida. She was on the coast, is my understanding, and she just made it to her destination to get away from that storm that's headed her way. I guess Ian is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she won't be on with us this evening. Hopefully, we can get her another time. So Dr. Dennis Rowe is a 1973 graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point and a Vietnam veteran, or Vietnam era veteran, I should say. Dr. Rowe has spent most of his working career, which spans 5 decades, working in service to our nation, first as a member of the armed forces, and then in support of the Federal Aviation Administration, helping to modernize the United States air traffic control system. So he was introduced to Thrive by his wife. And while he is not a three-step thriver necessarily yet, he has used one of the products in the line. And I'd like for him to share about that particular product that Lavelle is the company, Thrive, and then the product that he used and why he used it, who introduced him to it, and the benefits that he gained from it. So if you would, Dr. Rowe, that would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Thank you for the introduction, Allison. Right. I am a racquetball player of many years, but when I reached age 60, I stopped playing racquetball. And consequently, I didn't have much physical activity going on in my life. What I did is I took a 10-year hiatus, and I waited until I got into my 70s before getting back onto the racquetball court again. And I found that as I got back onto the court, I had a need to make sure that I was well hydrated before I would get onto the court with opponents who were typically 25 to 30 years younger than I am. So I was explaining to my wife, Harriet, that, yeah, I really do need to be well hydrated as I'm going up against these much younger players. And she said, hey, Dennis, what you might want to do is try a product that from Lavelle, and it's called Thrive Fit. And I'm not sure if you can see it here, Thrive Fit. And it's the actual name of it is, let me turn it this way, is Circulate, okay, from Thrive Fit. So what I did is I took the product and she gave me the instructions on how to use it. She cut open the packet. And what she did is she took just a little bottle of water that you would typically find in your refrigerator if you keep these things cold. And I would drink some of the water from the bottle, and then I would put the Circulate into the water, and then I would mix it up. And what I would do is I would do this an hour before getting onto the court with my much younger opponents. And what I found is that this Circulate product was extremely beneficial in terms of making sure that I was well hydrated before I got onto the court. And I would do this about an hour before getting onto the court. The very first time I used it, I went to the court and I was able to defeat soundly my much younger opponent. So it left a really good taste in my mouth, so to speak, for this product. And I have been using it ever since as I play different opponents. I played just yesterday evening. Felt really good, well hydrated as I went into my my racquetball match. Unfortunately, yesterday the opponent was a little better than I on the occasion, but I was well hydrated. And that was the important thing, is that this product did a great and does a great job of making sure one is well hydrated before any sort of physical activity, a workout, a bike ride, a walking session, but it does a really good job of ensuring one is hydrated, well hydrated before physical activity. So anyway, that's kind of my story. Let's see, Allison, do I turn it back over to you?
Yeah, yes. Could you go into a little detail? I remember hearing about a time when you may have not been feeling the best, but you didn't want to cancel your match, and it kind of like brought life back into you. I mean, not, I can't claim that, but it made you, I think, feel a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. And it does have a great pick-me-up sort of aspect to it. Not that you have to be going into some physical activity, but if you just took this Circulate product, it will definitely give you a pick-me-up type feeling. And I think that's what you're alluding to, that maybe
Yeah.
I didn't have a match necessarily, but I took the product and again mixed it up. I drank a little water, mixed it in there, shook it up, and it does a great job of that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I like it, and Cliff, chime in if you'd like. I like the taste. I really enjoy the taste, and it's just great, like for me, for a pick me up. How about you, Cliff? Are you a Circulate guy?
I am actually. So we have a Peloton at home, so I normally work out at home. But to Dennis's point, I do go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, and I've got about a 35-40 minute drive there. And I always put my Circulate in my bottle as I'm walking out the door, and I drink it as I'm headed into the gym, so that I'm done with it before I get to the gym. But you're right. I mean, you could just feel the difference in how you feel with your hydration, with your blood flow. It's a vasodilator as well. So it really helps get your body moving and moving forward. So perfect for workouts, or even if you're not feeling that well, to Dennis's point, it's great with a good pick me up to really get your body back up and running.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for mentioning the term vasodilator. And the reason it is, I want to share this. I got to refer to my notes just a little bit here. But nitric oxide is the big component of Circulate that really helps people like get going to where they need to be. So nitric oxide is actually a molecule that's naturally produced in our bodies, and it plays a number of important roles in the function of our bodies. And one of those is what Cliff mentioned, and probably the most important actually, is the fact that it is a vasodilator. Which means basically it relaxes the internal muscles of our blood vessels and it causes them to widen. So it increases our circulation within our bodies. And then the nutrients and other things that need to go, blood, nutrients, they are able to move more effectively and efficiently throughout our systems. So that's the layman's version of the science behind it.
So that's what I've been feeling, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
That nitric oxide effect.
Yeah. And the vasodilation, yes.
Vasodilation, yeah, okay.
Yep. So good. Well, hey, thank you. Thanks so much. Oh, I have a question. Do you plan to become a 3-step thriver?
Ooh, great question. Well, I think if I hang around my wife long enough, and hopefully I'll still have a chance to hang around her a little bit longer. I know it's been we're going on 47 years now, huh?
Wow.
Wow. But I think if I hang around her a little bit longer, I may well be in that camp of the 3-step thriver, huh?
Yes.
Say that 3 times. 3-step. Okay.
3-step thriver. Yes. Good. Good. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that experience with us. I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Cliff. So introduction about Cliff. He's been a 3-step thriver for 5.5 years, roughly. He and his wife, Melissa. Melissa started before you?
Well, we technically started on the same day, but the only
Okay.
reason that we're thriving is because I didn't listen to her and she placed the order. So thank goodness. So to Dennis's point, I've only been married for 20 years, but I have learned to listen. Yes. Most of the time.
Most of the time. So Cliff and his wife Melissa are the parents of three daughters, mostly teenage, almost, well, anyway, older than 10 daughters.
They all believe they're teenagers, whether they are or not.
Okay. And Cliff, you're also a veteran. We won't hold it against you. You're an Air Force guy. And
Someone's got to soar high.
There we go. There we go. Flying high. You're a veteran and a former logistics officer in the Air Force and an OIF veteran. You served 04-05 timeframe there at the Baghdad International Airport as the nighttime flight line logistics officer. Do I have that right?
You got it.
Okay, so this is kind of a little mini veteran evening. So thank you for being here. Cliff, if you would share with us what got you to start thriving? Why did you listen to Melissa? What have you experienced over the past 5.5 years? And why do you keep going?
Man, so those are good questions. To really be able to answer that, I'd have to take you back prior to those 5.5 years. And I won't get too much into my wife's challenges, but she's got a lot of medical challenges. And so we had been going through 7 years of a really tough time. A lot of medical challenges, a lot of hospitalization, a really tough time as we're having children. We've lost quite a few children, in utero. And so it took a lot to even have children. And then she started having a lot of medical challenges. And so life was just rough all the way around. We actually had to hire someone to live with us to be able to take care of her as I was trying to work. And to your point, I was really out of shape, just plain and simple, really out of shape. I was taking those over-the-counter vitamins from your local drugstore. Never felt anything, but I just knew I needed to take something, right? Because I never felt right. The doctor was always like, hey, this is off and this is off and this is off. You need to take some of this stuff. And so I was just popping probably 11 to 12 pills a day, trying to, get the right stuff in there, whether it's CoQ10 or a men's, multivitamin or fish oil, big old giant yellow pill that tastes so nasty. But, at the same time, I'm working a full-time job. I'm dependent 100% on diet soda to function, 5 to 6 a day. I never drink water. So if Dennis had come to me 5.5 years ago trying to talk about hydration, I'd have been like, dude, I'm totally hydrated. I drink 5 to 6 diet sodas every day. How more can I be hydrated? But at the same time, just stomach was always hurting. I always felt just depleted. Like I never had energy. Uh-oh, can you guys still hear me? My screen is frozen on my side. Okay, there we go. I always felt down, right? And here I am trying to take care of my wife. I'm trying to take care of our 3 girls. I'm going to work full time. At the same time, I'm going to master's classes at the University of Miami at night. So my day started at 5 o'clock in the morning where I went to work, tried to keep my eyes open all day, pop in a diet soda every 2 to 3 hours. And then it was straight to class at night for 3 hours, and then about an hour and a half drive home. So getting home at around 11 o'clock at night. And of course, stopping at Wendy's right outside of the campus there and grabbing a big juicy burger and a 32-ounce diet soda to make it home without hopefully closing my eyes, and then getting up and doing it all over again. But needless to say, it was miserable. Life was miserable with everything going on, and I felt miserable. But, I've never liked coffee. I've never liked energy drinks. I didn't know anything else. I just knew that hey, this is adulthood. This is what everybody talks about. I was in my mid-30s. Life, this is what you're supposed to feel like as an adult, right? This is why we all complain about how terrible we feel. But then a friend of ours brought us these 3 steps. And we had tried everything prior to that. And so we tried to explain to her, hey, we couldn't do this because of Melissa's medical challenges. But so for 4 months, we said, no. Finally, we relented and we said, look, we'll take it to the doctors. She had 7 doctors at the time. And if they all agree, then we'll try it. Sure enough, they all looked at the ingredients, said, hey, it's non-GMO. It's lactose free. It is all natural, diabetic friendly, low in sugar. What do you have to lose? Go for it. So I would say reluctantly and skeptically, and my bachelor's degree is in biology. So I like to think I know a little bit about how the body works and things. So I was very skeptic. But I'll tell you that day one and then day two and then day three, I watched my wife literally transform in front of my eyes. And like I said, I won't get too crazy into her story. You got to hear it one day. But it was like a light switch went off. And she was up, she was moving, she was feeling great. I felt she was pushing way too hard in 72 hours because the whole time I'm not feeling anything. I tried day one of these 3 steps, nothing. Day two, nothing. Day three, nothing. And a friend of ours had given us a 3-day sample. So I'm like, okay, well, surprise, it doesn't work. My wife's over here having like this, out of body experience, and I'm like, yep, that's called a placebo effect, sweetheart. You'll be crashing and we'll be headed right back to the hospital very shortly. But she said, well, I think this is amazing. I want to try this. I'm going to order a month of it. And I said, fine, just don't order me a month of it. Don't waste the money. It's not worth it. Luckily, it was her birthday. And she said, well, this is what I'm getting for our birthday. And I'm getting it for both of us. And like, what am I supposed to say? I can't argue with that. I'm like, okay, it's your birthday. Thank goodness that I didn't raise too much of a fuss. Because for me, it was actually day 10 when I felt that light switch come on. I'm kind of jealous. She was a day 1 thriver and I'm a day 10 thriver. But the reason why I figured it out was because I was just sitting in my living room watching television. My mom lives with us because my dad passed away actually in 6 years ago. And I heard that familiar of the soda can about 9 o'clock that night as we were watching television. But it wasn't me. I wasn't the one opening it. It was my mom. And so I'm like, did I have a soda today?
Oh.
And I told Melissa, and I was like, I don't think I had a soda today. And she's like, we all laughed, right? Because yeah, right. I drink 5 to 6 sodas a day. You would never catch me with a bottle of water. And sure enough, I said, well, let me go check, because she always packed me 2 sodas in my lunch every day. I went in there, and there in my lunchbox still sat 2 sodas. And I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night. I feel good. Like, I haven't had a soda all day. What happened? And then she said, look at that sticker on your arm. And I was like, okay, maybe these 3 steps do kind of work. And I can tell you that over the last 5.5 years, I can 100% tell you they work. It has made an absolute difference in our life. Everything from helping with weight management to my mental clarity. I always had a hard time at work because I was never really able to focus. I was really just foggy throughout the day. I'd get enough to get by, but now I can really focus. I can't say it was Thrive, but I've been promoted twice in the last 5.5 years. So maybe Thrive had a little bit of a hand in there with my focus. But I think the biggest thing for me now, outside of being able to be a better husband and a better father to my daughters, because I have the energy to come home and to be present with my family. But my stomach doesn't cramp up and just have all those aches and discomforts that I used to have. And for me, even if I didn't have the energy, even if I didn't have the mental clarity, not having the stomach problems anymore would be enough for me to continue to thrive. So I can say after 5.5 years that there's a reason why I won't go a day without these 3 steps. And it's because of the way I feel each and every day. And when you feel better, you treat people better around you. You just are better. You want to be better. And so I've seen my life transform a lot on the inside, spiritually, physically, mentally over the last 5.5 years, because I realized that I could be more than what I was 5.5 years ago, not just an angry, grumpy adult getting through life because I thought that's what you had to do. Now I feel like there's a purpose to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And I have to say it's because I feel good every day. And that's thanks to those 3 steps.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Cliff, for sharing that. Wow. That's really funny that, wait, who just opened that soda can?
I
Like the
know, I know,
sound.
trust me. And you know what? I'll tell you, it's like, once again, that was 5.5 years ago, but I don't even like diet soda anymore. Like it just tastes ew. Like I can't even, like, I don't know. There's just something about it. Like it just does not taste the same. So I haven't had one in probably 2.5 years now, 3 years.
Wow.
I'd love to tell you like I broke it that night and I never had a soda. That wasn't the case. I had to slowly wean myself off of that caffeine roller coaster. But now you won't catch me with a diet soda in my hand. It's just no appeal. You'll catch me with a bottle of water with Circulate. That's for sure.
No, that's really good. Yeah, thanks. I know there are several things that people notice. One of the big ones is cravings.
Yeah.
Cravings for certain things just kind of go by the wayside. Another, you talked about mental clarity. That was the first thing I noticed was like, it just felt like, yeah, I don't, that's mental clarity, like this lightness in your head, like, oh, wow, I can think like clearly. The mental clarity, stomach challenges. In fact, I'll have a friend on this evening, a local friend who'll be interviewed by Haley this evening,
Nice.
is the plan, and stomach issues is what she struggled with, like really badly, and she was drinking a lot of sodas, and now whenever I see her, she has water. Like she doesn't even desire that anymore as much. Like she said, I can barely get through a tiny little, yep, one of those small cans of soda anymore. So yeah, the stomach issues have resolved for the most part. She's gotten a lot of relief. So of course I can't make any medical claims here, but people are experiencing those sorts of I don't want to say what am I looking for here?
I look at it as a transformation. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
those
it's a powerful
transformations.
word, but I think it very well fits here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so when will you be a three-step driver? No, I'm kidding.
It's time, Dennis. It's time.
I know.
Yeah, that was my question, right?
Yeah. No.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so this is great. I don't see anyone else who's on. We're recording, so I will definitely share this with folks. Anything else you all would like to add or questions to ask or things people should know? Um, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Cliff.
Well, you may have been about to say exactly what I'm going to say, but I'll tell you the one big thing that has continued to help me thrive over the last 5.5 years, especially right now during, the crazy inflation and all the pricing challenges. And, especially as you get hurricane preparedness, as we're doing right now, and you're filling up all your vehicles and you're buying extra food. So there's a lot of extra costs there. But I'll tell you one thing that I really loved about Thrive. One, it's actually come down in price since I started 5.5 years ago. But actually, the great thing is that Lavelle is the company and Thrive is the product. But with Lavelle, when you have two friends that you refer who thrive with you, your Thrive is free the following month. And so for me, when we purchased our first month in March of 2017, I actually signed up. My wife Melissa signed up underneath me. Oddly enough, it wasn't vice versa. But and then my mom saw the difference in my wife so quickly that she signed up as well underneath me. I haven't paid for my Thrive since March of 2017. I get it free every month. Melissa, 4 people saw the difference in her in the first 7 days of her using Thrive. She's
Yeah.
been free since March of 2017. So the fact that we can feel this good without that additional cost to our family, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is a great point. That's one thing I have found with this particular company that I found actually hard to believe. The person who shared it with me, I couldn't believe it because that's not the experience I've had with another direct sales company I've been affiliated with. I, I I just kept asking questions, expecting her to give me a different answer, and she didn't change her answer. It was like, so I don't have to do this every month to do this. I don't have to do this every month to do that. No, and you don't even have to be a business builder to do that. It's just the referral and somebody just noticing a difference in you and to wanting some of that themselves. And that in turn pays for yours. But I thought there were all these things that you had to do and you don't.
Yeah,
You just
I
have
agree
to,
with you
yeah.
100%. I mean, I'm in the corporate world. I'm a junior executive with a company, and when someone tries to tell me free, I'm always looking for that catch. There's always that red tape.
Right.
But I can tell you that after 5.5 years, it's not there. It is
Yeah.
exactly what they say it is.
Mm. The one thing that I wanted to share is that I think sometimes a lot of times, and I'm thinking more of the circulate, like the individual products, because they're different lines. There's a Thrive Fit line, there's a probiotic prebiotic line, there's a skin line. A lot of times my experience has been people get so attached to the company that they're a part of, they don't want to try anything else. Right? Like, oh, I can't try that because I already have collagen with my company. Well, right? But the way I see it is this. Sometimes I like things better from Target than I do from Whole Foods, or vice versa. Or I might be a Home Depot kind of person, but they may not have what I need. Or I might have found out from a friend that Menards, which I never heard of until we moved to Kansas, Menards
I know
has
Menard.
something that I need and it's better, right? And it has a better price and it looks nicer. But I don't typically go to Menards because I've never even heard of it. I share that because I want to encourage people to kind of get out of that. Mm, I don't know if it's a guilt almost, like, oh, I can't betray my own. Oh, well, it looks like we're gonna end in 10 minutes. That's okay. We'll be done by then. Um, I don't want to, I want to be loyal to my own company. Therefore, I don't want to try anything from another company. And I want to encourage people to kind of get out of that mindset, because you don't do that with other stores. You buy gas from different companies. You buy, you know, toilet
Close.
paper probably from different companies, whatever's cheapest these days, right? No, I'm kidding. The best value these days. Clothing, you might like something from one place and you like better for another. I mean, there are plenty of things. I've been a customer with Melaleuca for years. There's certain things that I just don't buy from them because I prefer it from somewhere else. So open up your, you know, your your mind to trying things from other companies. You might find that you like something better somewhere else, and you might find that it's better than what your company that you feel super loyal to offers. So, yeah,
Agreed.
Mhm.
and that's all I've got.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having us on, Allison.
Yes, thanks for hopping on. Would you like to add something, Dennis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Allison, I just wanted to say thank you for the invitation. I really
Yes.
enjoyed the time, and I really enjoyed hearing from Cliff, since
Mm.
he's a longtime user of the product. He's got familiarity with Lavelle, with the Thrive line of products, and it was good hearing from him.
Yeah.
Thank you. You could still beat
Totally.
me on the racquetball court, though. Don't worry.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, thank you both very much for being on. And yes, I will message Melissa to get some insights on the saving. Let me go ahead and stop this
Perfect.
recording real quick.